You've done it. I've done it. Your sweet, well-meaning grandma has probably done it, likely while wrestling with a deep existential sigh. You get a text from a friend of a friend, a person whose name flickers at the edge of your memory, asking if you can help them move a horribly cursed, probably haunted solid oak armoire up 5 flights of stairs on a Sunday morning. Or maybe it was your boss on a Friday at 4:59 p.m. asking you to take on one tiny extra project when your to-do list is already screaming for mercy. The request hits your phone and you feel a physical reaction, a tightening in your chest, a sense of dread. Every fiber of your being, every neuron in your brain, every scheduling app on your phone screams no. Your soul, which had a very important meeting with a Netflix binge and a bowl of cereal, screams no. And yet you watch in horror as your thumbs, as if possessed by some malevolent demon of agreeableness, type back, "Sure, what time works for you?" And you immediately slap your forehead, a wave of instant regret washing over you. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and it's not because you're weak or flawed. This isn't a character defect, it's a brain glitch. It's a feature, not a bug, of an ancient survival software that's still running on your very modern hardware. Calling yourself a people pleaser is like blaming your GPS for driving you off a cliff. Your brain is simply doing exactly what it was programmed to do: keep you alive and socially connected. So, if you've ever felt like your mouth is betraying your mind, you're in the right place. Welcome to Level Up Your Life. Today we're debugging the people pleaser's glitch. To understand this glitch, let's start with a shocking story from the world of neuroscience, which reveals why rejection literally hurts. Social pain is real pain. For years, we've used phrases like hurt feelings or a broken heart, but we thought they were just metaphors. They're not. Cutting-edge research using functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, shows that being socially rejected lights up some of the exact same brain regions as a physical injury. In a series of pioneering studies led by neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger, participants were put into an fMRI scanner and played a simple virtual ball-tossing game called Cyberball. Unbeknownst to them, the other players were just a computer program. After a few minutes of inclusion, the program would suddenly stop throwing the ball to the participant, effectively excluding them. The results were staggering. The moment of social exclusion triggered a burst of activity in 2 key brain regions, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula. Think of these as your brain's neural alarm system. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex is what fires when you feel the emotional unpleasantness of pain. It's the part that makes you say, "Ow, that's distressing." The anterior insula processes visceral, gut-level feelings. When these 2 regions light up in response to social rejection, your brain is essentially screaming, "Warning, social connection is under threat." But the science gets even more terrifying. You might think, okay, so emotional pain and physical pain share an alarm system. Big deal. But it's deeper than that. A landmark 2011 study took people who had recently gone through an unwanted romantic breakup and had them view a photo of their ex-partner while thinking about the rejection. This powerfully elicited experience didn't just activate the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and anterior insulate. It also lit up the secondary somatosensory cortex and the dorsal posterior insula, the very brain regions involved in processing the physical sensation of pain. This means your brain doesn't just register heartbreak as distressing, it can register it as a literal physical hurt. The phrase "a broken heart" just went from a poetic metaphor to a documented neurobiological event. And if you need one more piece of mind-blowing evidence, follow-up studies found that people who took a daily dose of Tylenol actually reported feeling less emotional pain from social rejection over time. So why is our biology wired this way? To understand, we have to travel back in time. Way back, before Wi-Fi, before agriculture, before pants. We need to go back to when humans lived in small, tightly knit tribes where your social standing was everything. In that world, social rejection was a literal death sentence. Being ostracized from the group meant no food, no shared fire, no protection from saber-toothed tigers. Evolution forged an unbreakable rule in our most primitive reptilian brains. Stay in the group or you're toast. Your brain, in its infinite and slightly paranoid wisdom, developed a highly sophisticated threat detection system to prevent this from ever happening. That very same system is still running the show today. When you even think about saying no, your amygdala, your brain's overzealous security guard, can't tell the difference between a minor social inconvenience and a lethal tribal threat. It pulls the fire alarm, flooding your system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, jacking up your heart rate and making your palms sweat. This is the classic amygdala hijack. But here's the kicker. It actively sabotages your ability to make a good decision. All that stress flooding your system causes your medial prefrontal cortex, the rational, logical, forward-thinking inner CEO of your brain, to essentially go offline. The MPFC is responsible for complex decision-making, emotional regulation, and weighing future consequences. When it's suppressed, you're left with your panicked, reactive, survival-focused brain at the wheel. In that adrenaline-soaked moment, your brain's cheat code is simple. Say yes, stay safe. Agreeing feels like the quickest way to hush the internal alarm. It might feel weak, but it's actually your powerful survival circuitry kicking into high gear. This entire process is about self-compassion. Understanding these deep, uncontrollable biological forces is the first step to freeing yourself. It's not your fault that this is hard. It's not a personal failure, it's your ancient programming at work. Now that you understand the internal hardware that makes saying no feel like a survival threat, you need to understand the external world that relentlessly pushes those ancient buttons. In our next episode, we'll explore the powerful social forces, from peer pressure to your childhood, that have been training you to say yes your entire life. Subscribe so you don't miss it.